just started recording.
All right. Take it away, Michael.
Hey, welcome to the debut episode of something that we have not named yet. That's Seabass. This is JT Barney, your boy. And right there, that is the Omega Condor. And yeah, welcome guys. How we feeling today? Oh, I'm Bill, by the way.
Thank you, Bill.
I think we're all very, very excited to start this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We constantly talk about films and hot takes of films that we like and don't like. And we realize that we all share this passion for things like Marvel, Star Wars, DC, Last Jedi. I'm just going to put The Last Jedi in its own category because we'll cross that bridge when that happens, but that is going to be a hot take that we will hopefully talk about in this podcast. But really, yeah, we all got together and we realized that we wanted to kind of speak on this stuff, and it's kind of our passion for film that ignites this. So I'm really happy to be here.
I like it because it gives us an excuse to stay a little bit connected with each other. It's a little bit selfish on my part. I like talking to these, I would say like-minded individuals, but half of these people do like all of The Last Jedi.
Okay, let's just get the cat out the bag right now. Me and Bill like The Last Jedi,
It's
and
trash.
we think it's a great movie.
It's bad. It's bad. We'll
Trash.
talk. We'll talk about it. But hi, I'm the Omega Condor. Condor for short. I'm in agreement with Barney. I also don't like The Last Jedi, and I'm really happy to be talking about nerd shit with people that I like. So, and I think it's exciting to talk about it with people who aren't quite as like-minded as myself, because then that opens more discussion. If Barney and I were starting a podcast together, the episode would go, Last Jedi sucks. Yeah, you're right. And then roll credits.
Diverse political opinion is important. My name's Bill, and my path started when I saw a film in 2018 called The Last Jedi, and everything kind of just grew from there.
A heart attack.
And now here I am to spread the good word.
He watched that Leia scene, Leia just coming back to that ship all heroically, and he was like, I love film more than anything.
You know what's hilarious? That's actually not true. I walked out the first time I saw Last Jedi, like during that scene, I think.
You just walked out of the theater?
I did walk out of the theater, yeah.
I think I remember intrinsically hearing everyone in that movie theater when she did that scene. When she came back onto the ship, I heard a lot of "fuck this." That's what I heard in the movie theater.
It made me realize that it was too late to be watching this movie, is what it made me. Because I saw it at like 3 a.m, and at like 4:20, she did that, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go home. So I just got a rain check, and I came back like 6 hours later. You watch Harry Potter in the AM, you watch Star Wars in the AM, but like seeing that, I was like, I can't do this in the AM right now.
Clearly, we have a lot of opinions on Last Jedi. I caught myself every day talking about stuff that I was passionate about, like Star Wars and Marvel and DC, and then one day I was just like, you know what? I should just make a podcast out of this, and so we can have like a legit outlet to talk about it and hopefully reach people. That's kind of what I wanted from this, and I'm very fortunate. I'd say I'm very fortunate enough to have found some friends, very close friends of mine now, that share these passions. All right, enough of this mushy crap. Let's get back into it, yeah?
When I was a boy, my grandfather, he showed me films. And now I like the films still.
You had a grandfather. I had to stare at the billboards from the trash can I grew up in.
The films raised you themselves.
He like his films al dente. You like them al dente?
I put them in 11 minutes, salted water. Take them out. Good movie.
I think it would be a good opportunity though if you're a first-time viewer and you're not involved in the industry like
first-time viewer, Sebastian. We're 15 minutes into our first ever episode. Everyone's a first-time viewer.
8 minutes.
No. I mean, if you're a first-time viewer about the industry, I mean, not just our podcast. If you don't know anything about the film industry, there's like a little strike going on right now. And I think it'd be really cool to just shed some light on what's going on for the people who are uninformed a little bit. So, Michael, you want to start us off with what your opinions are on the strike and what's generally going on right now in the industry and what that means for actors like us?
Okay, so there's a strike going on, and it was already ongoing with the WGA, the writers, and now SAG-AFTRA, the actors, have joined after a lot of delays and a lot of hope that it would not come to this because this has not happened since the 1960s. And it speaks to the fact that we are currently on a fulcrum in terms of our industry because they thought that streaming was going to be profitable in a way that it was not. And now they have to correct that. Even though we're the younger generation, so we're kind of like, art should be free all the time. But when it comes to the health of these industries, it's not panning out, and things have become straight up unsustainable. Which, like every other industry in America right now, also has to do with unfair CEO compensation being so drastically different from what the working employees of the organizations make, which is just a problem across the board.
Hey, you're fucking artists.
The people who support the strike but still want to go see movies, how do they show proper admiration to the directors and the artists who put it forward, but showing the proper reverence to the actors trying to fight for the future of the craft and making sure they're paid a fair wage? What kind of tightrope line do we have to walk?
I guess VOD, basically, like pay-per-view.
Realistically, how long are we thinking this strike is going to go on for? Is it really? Because I keep reading all these headlines where they're gonna, like, the studios are not gonna make a deal unless these writers and directors and actors and everyone start losing their apartments, start losing their living accommodations. Is that just a scare tactic, or is this actually happening?
According to journalists, that was a leaked conversation between an insider that knew what the strategy was going to be for that side of the arguments going forward, and that's what they said their strategy was. And then I think 12 hours, 5 hours or something, like very soon after this broke, there was immediately an article, forget which publication, but there was immediately an article in a major publication on behalf of those people being like, we would never be this cruel. We didn't mean that at all. We want these negotiations to be solved just as badly as they do. And yeah, I'm not sure that that's true.
And why do you think? Oh, I don't know, because it was just a little weird to me that SAG kept prolonging the strike.
They were hoping that they could come to an agreement before a strike was needed. So
and obviously that didn't pan out.
Correct.
Because there was no agreement that happened.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the hinge point that they weren't going to give on was the AI and residual payouts.
Yes. So basically, what the studios did was they came with a plan saying that they could AI an actor's face or whatever, and then use them as much as they wanted without compensation or something like that, right?
That's wrong. Then Bruce Willis got screwed.
Bruce Willis
because Bruce Willis actually sold his likeness to be AI generated.
Which is kind of what they did for Harrison Ford in Indy.
Yeah, but the issue with that is Harrison Ford owns his face. They can't trademark a face.
Trademark your faces when you become a professional actor.
I mean, it's totally like, it doesn't make sense because a person's likeness is their brand. They inherently own it, and just because you scan it and can recreate it in a computer does not make it yours.
Side mark, Bill. Kit Harington trademarked his hair in Game of Thrones. By the way, his hair was worth over $1 million.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a different Game of Thrones. That made me think of a different Game of Thrones related thing, which is the House of Many Faces. It's that, but the studios have them digitally in their basement. It was really cool, like 7 years ago, I remember, because people like Hideo Kojima, the video game director, he would post these pictures of, look, I'm photographing Norman Reedus' entire body. Isn't that super funny? Oh, Mads Mikkelsen, his entire body. Ooh, and then he took models of Guillermo del Toro and Nicholas Winding Refn, and they're not actors, so they didn't do the performances, but he made perfectly beautiful meat puppets of them to be played by different actors in the finished product.
I can't believe that the studios came to SAG with that deal and expected them to just agree to that when it was so crazy. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Bob Iger went on TV and he said that the artists and writers and actors said that what they were asking for was unrealistic, quote unquote. The expectations.
He makes $25 million a year.
He makes 20.
Is that thinking like we do?
And he just appointed a successor, let him run things, came back, and then for an interim period, just to help. And then he extended his contract to 2026. He's the Jay Leno CEO.
And he's just cut cost on all Marvel and Star Wars content on Disney Plus. There will be.
I mean, I would imagine that those were way too expensive, to be honest.
They were already the top of their line in the visual effects. Aside from some of the lightsaber effects, I'd say they're still top of the line, but their writing has been hot garbage. Now it's all going to be hot garbage.
Well, it makes sense that their writing is shit because they're not paying the writers enough to care to write a good story.
At this point, I think it's more of a case of volume as opposed to quality. And that's why we're seeing such a dip in box office. Guys, The Flash bombed at the box office.
There were multiple factors to that.
But still, I think we've inherently seen a down spike in box office.
The pandemic just showed us there's a much more relaxing way of doing things.
For that exact same reason, that's what people thought that home videotape in the early 80s was going to be the same depth for theaters. But then, like, studios made a shit ton of money on it, and they were like, all right, yeah, it's cool, it's fine.
But then you've got the enigmas now, right? The diamonds in the rough. Like, Mario Bros. Exploded. That movie exploded the box office. I think it's the highest earning film of this year.
How many years did the animation team work on that?
Exactly.
In development for a long time.
Exactly.
It was a thing that it was a labor of love over many years. People are trying to churn out fast turnaround things and their stinky hot poo-poo.
And I really think that Disney Plus is at the core of the problem for this because I don't know what they came up in their strategy for their room, but I think they just wanted to shelve out show after show off. Like, come on, we would finish one show, we would finish one MCU show, and then another one started like immediately. I didn't even have time to process the MCU show I just watched.
I feel like I'm in it right now.
Yeah, like I podcast. We're gonna talk about Secret Invasions. I don't think any of us here likes that show.
No,
I haven't even seen it yet.
I mean, I
haven't bothered.
I won't talk about it.
But does anyone even give a shit about it though? No, I don't.
There might be some tweens out there that are.
I forgot it.
Living life.
Honestly, I saw like a clip on TikTok of a Secret Invasion trailer snippet, and it's like tomorrow, and I'm like, tomorrow? Where was the marketing? Where was I didn't even know it was coming out. Where the hell was the marketing campaign for this project?
It was right there on that video that you were watching.
On
that is the marketing.
Day before release. That's where they're like, wait, guys, we finished the show, but nobody's going to watch. Nobody knows about it. What are we going to do?
You know?
But
and speaking of utilizing AI tools, that show's entire title sequence is AI generated art.
Yes, and I know a lot of people beefed about that on Twitter and social media, because it seemed like it was just an easy cop out to put something on the title screen instead of doing it correctly or doing it right, you know. And I agree with that. But guys, spoiler territory podcast really quickly. In the episode, Rhodey is revealed as a Skrull. And no one batted an eye about that on social media. Nobody cared. And this guy posted something really interesting. He posted the clip on Twitter, and he said, 6 years ago, before Endgame, people would have lost their minds at this. I don't care. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
See, that's a good point. I haven't been watching Secret Invasion, but I did learn about that plot point through an article that Kevin Feige was quoted in, and he was like, how long has this been going on? Which films in the past in the timeline will be different now that Rhodey's a Skrull? Is he a Skrull after Endgame? When is he a Skrull? And it's just this article that's kind of just encouraging going through the backlog and
Yeah.
being like, "Ooh,
Don't you want to
wow."
watch it?
It's almost
Exactly.
like they're advertising that they want you to know this clip so that you get back into this game of Secret Invasion of being hyped for it. But it's
Yeah, bro, it's less plot point, more advertising.
exactly.
I haven't been excited for a project from Marvel until this one that got released. What was it, like a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago? Kevin Feige's coming back to do the Mutant trilogy or the Mutant saga, or whatever. So
Yes.
that is the only thing that I'm excited for. I can't think of another one I'm excited to see.
I mean, I guess I'm to be honest, I'm excited for the new Captain America movie, but I think it just got pushed back a lot. But I am excited to see how Sam Wilson inherits that role, and kind of where it goes. I just think Phase 4's been messy, guys.
The most disjointed series of properties in the entire MCU.
I really truly believe that they didn't know what direction to go after they finished the Infinity Saga. They were just like, how do we top this and where do we go from here? And I think
their direction was what you were talking about earlier. They chose volume.
The Infinity Saga was in the making over 10 years, basically. It was 10 years of work to tell that story.
23 films, lads.
23 films over the course of 10 years. Now we're getting TV show, movie. Like in the course of 5 years, we're getting like 6 or 7 films and like 8 TV shows. And I'm like, guys, breathe. Take a second. Write a good story. Like that's the reason the Infinity Saga, for the most part, I would say about 85% of the Infinity Saga is actually like really good, and then the other 15% is okay-ish. There are a few sequels.
But also, 23 films to have maybe like 3 bad, like mediocre movies is
Those are
ridiculous.
Incredible statistics.
Yeah,
well, even the mediocre ones took a shot. At least.
Another hot take here that we can talk about eventually is I like Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World.
I do.
Yeah, no, I figured you would, but and yes, that movie is bad.
I figured you would like a bad movie because you have terrible taste.
Eclectic taste. That's the nice way of saying it.
Thank you. I love it when you say that Sean, to me. He always changes this, and he always says that I have eclectic taste. I always appreciate you, Condor, for that. Thank you.
It's not bad taste. It's eclectic taste.
I would say it's just he takes the contrary opinion.
What the Infinity Saga did so well was really, really work on their characters. Give them their individual time that they needed to build a really, really good character arc for each character. Every character has a fantastic arc in the Infinity Saga. And now I just feel like, does anyone care about Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac's character? Who cares about that?
It really takes me out of it to listen to his hokey, like quirky, corny, like accent over half the show, and I'm like,
now you've got it.
Like he's just like
Now you've gone and done it.
He oversold the meekness, and he's like, wow, I have shredded 6-pack abs and biceps the size of a baby's head, and I haven't done I don't remember doing a single sit-up or push-up. That's weird. And then he goes to sleep chained to his bed. I'm like, how do you what do you think is happening?
Do you think that Phase 4, you can kind of contribute the fault of Phase 4 to what WandaVision tried to do? Because that was the first Disney Plus project that came out after Endgame.
Honestly, I would say that giving any of the story, like calling that the culprit, is being way too generous to what they've been putting out. I think that it's a complete meta problem. It's a complete distribution-based problem, especially the fact that started Phase 1, they are all films up to a very specific point, and at that point they didn't just get confused, they got like their mediums completely crossed. The pacing has gotten so weird because each thing is like a 6-episode miniseries at least.
I remember when they tried to first do the cross thing with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but like before Phase 4, they were trying the whole cross thing with
but it was strange. It was strange though, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. worked. But I think it worked. I thought it was a good show.
It was but see, did the synergy work though? It was a good show, but I would argue that in terms of synergy, there were like literally 4 episodes at which something affected something.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a show that was retroactively written to fit the MCU for the time that it was being written in. So it came after those movies had premiered and they already had the ball rolling. And then it wasn't up until Age of Ultron that really Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like mattered, because then if you didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when you watched Age of Ultron, you're like, wait,
Who is that guy?
Yeah, who is this guy, and how did they lose the scepter? Like, and
Yeah,
Agents
yeah.
of S.H.I.E.L.D. very thoroughly covers that, to my understanding.
Also, a very important Thor: The Dark World adjacent episode.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to a point worked. Once
Ghost Rider came in.
Once Ghost Rider came in, because when they start introducing mainstream heroes that many people know about that aren't introduced in the movies first, it kind of shifts the view of the show, but also
it makes it like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. universe.
Yeah, it kind of, and that's what they did, because they implemented time travel into the end of the show,
and the Inhumans,
and so they kind of entered their own universe in terms of storytelling, because there was a point where they didn't know where to go and they couldn't connect what was happening with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to what was happening in the movies, because Hydra, because they discovered Hydra was actually, or S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually Hydra, and then they had to address that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then they had to go from there, like, where do we go from here?
I actually do remember thinking that specifically after watching Captain America: The Winter Soldier and being like, damn, dude, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gonna get canceled after this movie.
Yeah.
And then it didn't.
I think,
good on them.
I think the studio's retroactive problem was that they thought they could make something with the shows that inherently matched a cinema or movie type quality
into
a TV show.
So can you blame them though? Because that's the state of the medium.
You're right, exactly. I don't blame them for thinking that, but I think they didn't, or it was too late before they saw that you can't.
I think
can't happen.
that is partially in fault due to Game of Thrones, because season 8 of Game of Thrones is 6 hour and a half films.
Exactly.
Telling one mediocre story, and that's what they started doing in the MCU.
Okay.
I'm just about to get there. I'm on season 8, episode 1 on my first watch. Yeah, it's happening.
No spoilers. That's just my opinion. Is that last season is garbage?
And believe me, guys. When Bill watches season 8, we will talk about it.
Star Wars, after being bought by Disney, has become a different entity, and I know that that's like a commonly held opinion.
Of course,
and I think
IP,
that entity,
IP.
Yeah, bro. And what Marvel is and what Star Wars are they're just two concurrent things. And this distribution conundrum that the industry at large is dealing with, and Disney having a bunch of resources to be able to afford to experiment with, are we going to make a TV show? We're going to make a movie? Like, they're just busting out miniseries, documentaries, full series, animated series, full movies. They're doing just absolutely everything that they possibly can with both Star Wars and Marvel. And I think that above all else is the reason that the stories of both have become just very incomprehensible and inconsistent
and muddy.
And I think
very muddy. Yeah, based on like this factory mindset of, gotta get it out now, baby. We doing the miniseries over here. We're gonna explain where this robot came from over here. Like, not everything needs to be. Yeah, bro. Not everything needs to be explained to death.
Their hypersaturation is all about money instead of telling a good story, and that's really a shame. Like, the point, to expand the point you're making, is that art is not meant to be for making money. Art can make money. You can monetize art, and that's totally fine to do that. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be what you're doing. Art is about camaraderie. It is about performance. It is about displaying emotion, feeling. It's not about monetary gain.
But I think you can monetize art, but it just has to be it has to come from the artist's freedom to do that if he chooses to.
Oh, of course.
Monetize or not.
Well, I think it's the way that the person views their stuff, because it seems like these leaders view it as a product, and they view Star Wars and Marvel as a stream.
Exactly. Well, because they're not actors, they're not creators, they are business people. They're
Well,
running.
exactly. I was about to say they don't know anything about creative art. They see it as a business, like any other business that's trying to make money. They want to reduce their costs as much as they can, and they want to bring in as much revenue as they can.
Give
Who's gonna
art back
talk
to
to
the
level now?
artists. Give art
Yeah.
back to the artists.
Yeah.
For a price.
I mean, I think about this often, but artists were like, you know, the theater was next to the whorehouse, bro. Like, we are red light district citizens, technically. And the only thing that brought us out of that were cats with big cigars and lots of money.
Yep.
That were like, all right, I think we can make a lot of money if we do this right. And over the years, they've gotten the machine to work in a place where it's more dependent on them than it is on them. And maybe ideally, they want to send us back to the red light district.
We
Back to
are the red
To
light
the poor
district.
houses. You go live by the brothel.
They're gonna make us all whores again.
You know, and being artists is inherently looked down upon. Like my own grandfather, you know, old-fashioned Persian man. He's like, why aren't you trying to become a mathematician or a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer?
Well, I think that's inherently like a lot of problems that us as artists face with you know, familial support. Is that sometimes, especially people of the older generation, so boomers and so on, it's hard for them to see the relevance of what we're doing and how art is much more than just making money, right? It's about, you know, indulging in your life, finding out who you are in yourself. Like that's what art does, right? Is figuring out who you are, how you express yourself, how you can express your emotions, how you can finally feel free. And I think a lot of that is lost on the other older generations. But I think as time goes on with the newer generations like millennials, Gen Z, and all that kind of stuff, I think it's starting to change now. More support is giving to the arts.
I think so, but the issue is these boomers and these Gen Xers that don't take art seriously are still the people running the industry that we're trying to work in, and they don't and they don't value the work of their employees. That's why these strikes are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which is a worldwide labor thing at this fucking point in world history. But yeah, as it relates to our industry, it's especially baffling because it's like it's the whole thing, man. Distribution is the way that the whole thing makes money. So it's always been who's in charge of the distribution has a very outsized amount of power.
We are going to watch Oppenheimer in a very special way, thanks to Bill over here securing us these tickets. Snaps for you, Bill. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to be watching this movie 65 or 70 millimeter?
70 millimeter.
Yeah, 70 millimeter IMAX representation of this movie, which obviously I think I can speak for all of us here. We highly recommend that you do watch it like that because I'm assuming it's just going to be a cinematic experience of a lifetime. But let's have some thoughts on what we're going to get out of this movie and what we're hoping for, especially being in a Nolan verse like that. We know what a Nolan movie does. Let's start off with you, Barney. What are you hoping for Oppenheimer?
That it spins out into another Nolan universe trilogy. This is the first one. Oppenheimer begins.
Christian Bale. Bring back Alfred. What's his name? Michael Caine.
This is actually This is actually a Batman prequel because Batman had to use the Batwing to carry the bomb back out of Gotham. So this is the story of how Oppenheimer created that bomb.
This is the story. This is Godzilla prequel.
They cut to a scene in Dark Knight Rises where you're saying Condor, and it's like Cillian Murphy prepping the bomb, and Batman just swings it out on top of the harbor.
Yeah.
The Scarecrow is Oppenheimer's secret nephew that no one knew about.
Cillian Murphy says, "Psych, I'm not Oppenheimer. I'm really Scarecrow."
All right, so I have been watching a lot of 70 millimeter movies lately, and it's been fucking me up. Amazing format. And Nolan is clearly like a hardcore fanboy of a lot of those older like 60s and 70s directors, especially David Lean, who did Lawrence of Arabia. He fucking loves that guy, clearly. And I think it's very interesting that you wouldn't think, if you heard about a biopic being made today, that the person would care to be like, oh, and by the way, this life movie thing, it's got to be wide as fuck. It's got to be in 70 millimeter. And him having that insistence and him always having that vision, that he wants it big, he wants it beautiful, especially for something like a biopic. I'm just excited, and I trust him maybe a bit too much. I like Nolan a lot. And it just looks like he's going to actually do something interesting with the life and legacy of a very important person of the 20th century in a way that's not just sucking their dick, which is what a lot of biopics have devolved into.
Yeah, hopefully we don't suck Oppenheimer's dick for creating the nuclear bomb.
No Elvis fans in the building?
That was artful dick sucking, though, you know?
I'm going to be honest. I do, to talk about Condor's point, I do really feel like we're going to feel something for Oppenheimer. We will, I think.
Terror. I think we'll feel terror.
But I think it'll be kind of like almost like you're trying to understand Oppenheimer's point of view, like a lot of people try to understand Thanos' point of view, right? In Endgame and Infinity War. No, I'm not saying you agree with it. I'm saying that people tried to understand where they were coming from.
There's a famous quote about good films being arguments of equal validity on both sides. A good film is an argument. And the way that he's taught, so this is a sign that points towards that being the case, is that he said that some of the movie is filmed in black and white and some of it's filmed in color, and the black and white is supposed to be objective, and the color is subjective.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so excited to see that.
Me too, man.
And I believe I've never seen an IMAX movie in black and white before. Correct me, is that a thing?
He got Kodak to make black and white film stock for these high-tech cameras that did not previously exist.
Okay, that's actually kind of crazy.
That is innovation at its finest.
He pushes it. He's like George Lucas.
He is the modern day George Lucas, I think. He really is.
Dude, he's the modern day David Lean. He's a lot of people. He loves movies.
And also, if my research says correct, this is his first movie since 2000 that's not being distributed by Warner Brothers.
2002, I think,
what did he do? Memento? Was that what it was called?
Memento, yeah. If Insomnia was distributed by Warner Brothers, then that was his first one.
Yeah.
I think it was, actually.
And one of his first films, actually, that's also rated R.
Oh, well, yeah. The reason, by the way, that it's what we were talking about, it's very relevant. The reason that he moved to Universal is because of streaming rights, because he did not want Tenet to debut at home under any circumstances. And Disney and Warner Brothers did that to a lot of their films where they were just showing them at home because of the pandemic, which consumer friendly, but in terms of the way that people get compensated and the way that they want their work exhibition, it stepped on a lot of toes.
I will sit here and say I will never fucking watch a Nolan movie at home before watching in the theater. No.
I waited 3 years to watch Tenet, and I saw it for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Well, it's about.
And it was fucking sweet. No,
it's not a good movie.
I've not seen it, so I have no opinion.
Nope.
You gotta listen to the woman at the beginning, bro. She says, "Try not to think about it. Feel it.
Feel it."
That's what it's all about.
Speaking of Tenet, the reason
it's hot, stupid garbage.
The reason Nolan wanted
you're not feeling it. You're just not feeling it, bro.
No, but speaking of Tenet, the reason why Nolan wanted to make this movie was because Robert Pattinson gave him a book about Oppenheimer, and that got him obsessed.
Tenet.
It took him down a rabbit hole for Oppenheimer, and that's why he made this film, because of Robert Pattinson. So
cool.
Give Robert Pattinson the credit he deserves.
I'll do it.
He's got a lot of credit.
I'm Team Edward, bitch. Sorry.
Team Jacob. Team Edward's a little crazy.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Jacob is cringy at best.
Both of them are cringy. Don't give me that shit. But at least Jacob has werewolf.
I'm Team Dad.
I'm Team Dad too. I am the Team Dad as well. He's the best character.
Daddy.
He's just like, well, Bella, I'm gonna clean my shotgun in front of your vampire boyfriend. He's like, oh, you wearing contacts, Bella? Oh, you adopted this little girl who's growing at an alarming rate? All right, Bella, that's cool. I'm gonna go home and drink another beer before being a cop.
I love how he actively tries to get her to hang out with Jacob more than Edward. He's like, oh, that Jacob kid, you should hang out with him.
It looks like he's alive. You should hang out with him more. Leave your corpse boyfriend at home, please.
Can we just talk about the amazing cast of actors that Oppenheimer has?
Oh, I thought you were saying
Dude.
Barbie. Barbie and Oppenheimer are all stars.
I mean, both. I think we're coming into this period in film where a lot of films actually have like a stellar, and a big cast. And I
Well-
think kind of like Endgame kind of started that. Infinity War and Endgame started that, and now all these movies now are bringing so many A-list actors
Now,
into their film.
I
Bro, you
see.
think that Marvel started the concept of a bunch of A-list actors in the same
No.
movie? What you talking about?
I see
No,
a
but
lot
like-
more familiar faces in Oppenheimer than I do Barbie. Barbie looks like it has a lot of newer faces.
It's the newer faces, but
Newer
there's
faces,
a
but still stellar.
lot of recognizable.
I mean, Greta Gerwig is a younger director than Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, and
So-
and bringing in Simu Liu as a Ken is fantastic. I'm so excited to see his
Hell
his
yeah.
Ken.
Is Michael
Yeah.
Cera also a no? He's Alan.
Alan.
He's Alan.
He
Who's,
is.
Yeah.
who is that?
He's the only Alan. They've only made one Alan. He's like a cousin or younger brother to Ken. One of
I have
Interesting.
read that there will be many Ken cameos that we don't even know of yet.
Mhm.
So
Oh, good, good.
it's gonna be fun to just see all these Kens and all these.
I
different
call
types of
call Ryan Reynolds. I think he'll be dropping.
Ken. I really hope Nick Cage. I really hope Nicolas Cage. Oh,
Can we talk about how his Ghost Rider gets no love at all, but he was actually the start of the Marvel? He
That
did it
movie was-
before Robert Downey Jr. He gets
Hey,
no
man.
love.
Ghost Rider 1 is a great film. Ghost Rider 2, not so much.
Piss.
But
Hey, yes, you're right.
Casper Oppenheimer looks great, and I can't believe that they got friggin' Robert Downey Jr. to finally do a leading role in a non-Marvel movie for the first time since 2014.
But can we give Cillian
When-
Murphy
no,
finally?
when-
He's been in 7 Nolan films, and this is his first lead for Nolan. Like, yes.
No,
So
wait.
heavily deserved.
When was The Judge released?
2014, I
Like
think.
2014. Yeah.
Oh, that was an RDJ movie,
Icon.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's saying
Well, no,
since
that's-
2014, Robert Downey Jr. hasn't had a Doolittle.
I was about to say Doolittle. I think is the only one. I'm gonna look
What
this
about
up now.
Sherlock? What about Sherlock 2?
Sherlock came out.
Sherlock 2
way
was before The
was-
Judge.
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah. That was like
Okay.
2013 or
Well,
2012.
that's also a movie that I've erased from my brain because it's so bad.
Oh, Doolittle.
No, that and Sherlock 2.
My cat wants to join the
I have
podcast.
I have a
Hello,
personal
Pishi.
hate. I have a personal hate towards Doolittle because of his very sad attempt at doing a Welsh accent. He studied with a Welsh person for 2 years, and it was awful.
What are the distinctive parts of it as compared to normal British?
I think it's hard to say as someone who's a native speaker like I am. So it's
So you wouldn't be able to teach him either?
no, absolutely not. If you need, guys, I have a lovely little book here that all actors should read.
Speak with
It's
distinction.
called-
Speak with distinction.
Speak with distinction.
Oh my God.
If you want to learn a Welsh accent, right here. I'm looking back on the Barbie movie, and it's actually quite interesting how it started. It actually was a project that started with Amy Schumer. But did you guys know that then Anne Hathaway was considered for the role after her? For like a
Really?
short time? Yeah, it was.
That's
gonna be
interesting.
And Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman was going to direct it, but she had to exit it because she was doing the Star Wars movie that she was going to do. I feel like Patty Jenkins at the time was probably the safe choice to go for Barbie because she was like this. She had just done Wonder Woman.
She is
That
the Wonder
movie-
Woman.
Yeah, that
I mean, I
movie
was
did
I was
amazing.
hoping for Greta Gerwig the whole time.
No. I'm glad Greta is doing it and has done it, but at the time, I see how it made sense for Patty Jenkins to be attached to the project. Margot Robbie was born to play that role. Let's be honest.
And Harley Quinn.
Like,
And Harley Quinn. In terms of live action Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie
Jesus.
nailed it, and I wouldn't have cast
Yeah.
it any other way.
I know people hate the first Suicide Squad movie so much, but her performance in that movie is fantastic.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
She,
There were individually cool performances in that first Suicide Squad
I
movie.
think
That's why it's
I love Will Smith's Deadshot as well.
exactly. I liked a lot of those characters. The
Yeah.
movie itself was just not very good.
I could have done without Cara Delevingne. Not
Yeah.
gonna
No,
lie.
I know, dude. She sucked.
you mean to
Yeah.
tell me that the person who's not an actor acting is gonna not be good? Oh,
My thing with Cara Delevingne is that it's already become a thing where these business-minded people that we've already been talking about don't hire actors; they hire models.
Yeah.
And she's just one of the most highly visible
Yeah.
versions of that in the industry right now. I'm not
Yeah.
saying she can't get better, and I'm not saying that her screen presence isn't great, because it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, Suicide Squad in particular, that was a very
What was the other really like high budget movie she was supposed to be in, like the French comic or whatever?
No, she was in that
oh yeah,
sci-fi
Valerian
film.
and the City of a
She
Thousand
was in that
Planets.
sci-fi film,
Thank
right?
you, Michael.
Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Yeah,
That movie was garbage, by the way.
it was so fucking cool, dude.
You liked it?
I was waiting for a movie like that for years.
All right,
Yes, I
I
loved
might
it.
have to go give that one a rewatch. It's been a
You should, man. It's from the guy that made the Fifth Element. It's great.
I know, that's why
The
I was
X-ray
saying.
vision that they do in that film is
It's
I
disappointing,
can't
but I
handle
don't
it.
remember why.
No.
I mean, it's too much CGI. That's definitely a thing. But the way
The
they
whole
use the
film is
CGI was
CGI.
actually
The
interesting.
whole film is CGI.
I know, but I thought it was interesting. You know,
I just remember not being in touch with like the main characters, or not giving a shit what happened to.
Who played,
Okay,
who played the lead guy opposite her in that again? Who was it?
Dane DeHaan.
Harry Osborn from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Dane DeHaan, yeah.
Yeah.
Also
Dude,
of
the two
Chronicle
of them,
fame.
they're
He was in
both-
Chronicle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love Chronicle.
They're both dead-eyed young people, so having both of them together like is not a great idea. But the movie itself is really cool. It's very flawed though.
Hey guys, TASM 2, one of the best Spider-Man movies, I will say.
Mm,
One of the best Spider-Man movies with the dynamic of a Peter and a love interest is one
I
of the
will
best.
say the soundtracks, but the soundtrack hit hard for Amazing.
Yeah, the intro web sling scene to TASM 2 is the best web scene I've ever seen.
I mean, a lot of the visuals in both of those movies are really, really good.
And the
I
electro
like the way they were
suite,
directed.
Oh my god, the electro soundtrack.
It's amazing. It was so good.
It was so good they had to use it.
Wait, so
the
our Barbie conversation has been very much not about the film. Does that mean that we are?
to be
well,
fair,
I mean, we're like four dudes. Are we much less excited for Barbie than we are for Oppenheimer?
No, I'm excited for Barbie.
to be
I
fair,
will
we
very
haven't seen
excited.
either
I mean,
film
I
yet.
just love Greta Gerwig, man. I loved Little Women when that came out.
Exactly.
I'm
I'm a Greta
haven't seen the
Gerwig
films.
fan. I'm a Greta Gerwig fan. So I love seeing that. But do I have issues with Little Women? I do.
Do you?
Yeah,
Really?
I am a Timothy Chalamet stan usually, but I don't like him in that film. I think he's kind of weak, to be honest, and very linear in that film.
Well, yeah, but he is. Well, his weakness is part of the character, dude. She says no to him. You know, like it was cool. I really liked everything in that movie, especially acting wise.
Did you watch the Wonka trailer? I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Do I think that it's hard for him to play a silly and a quirky guy? I think so. I think it's going to be him forcing it too much.
An eclectic guy, if you
yeah.
will.
Yeah.
My thing with that is that it sounds way too much. His voice sounds like somebody that smokes weed and he's in the 20s in a magical world.
He doesn't think he's like, stop that, reverse it. I'm like, God, no.
I'm gonna get some more
We can
water.
make chocolates of all kinds.
Yeah, and he turns to look. He's like, chocolate,
Yeah.
of course. I'm making chocolate, of course.
So want chocolate that floats.
I don't know. Do I think it's pulling inspiration from Tim Burton's? Absolutely, and I like Tim Burton's rendition. I know Barney does not like the Tim Burton version. I personally do, just because I like, King of Quirky is Johnny Depp, so it fit really well.
I like Tim Burton's version too, but so a remake is one thing, especially when it's made by a director with a very specific style. But
Yes.
dude, these origin stories are murdering me slowly in my sleep. It is too much.
Who's directing Wonka? Do we know? Let me see.
Paul King.
Oh, Paul King, right. With the screenplay by Simon Fanabi. I don't know who that is.
Oh, Paddington, the director of Paddington.
Oh, is it Paddington? Okay, cool. Donald Glover, Ezra Miller is also going to be in this film.
So are people gonna protest that one too?
I mean, they should. I am excited to see Rowan Atkinson again in a film. I haven't seen him in a film in a long time. I need me some Mr. Bean. He plays the head of the chocolate cartel that they're talking about in the
The
trailer.
chocolate
Right,
cartel.
chocolate
Okay.
They call it the chocolate cartel in the trailer.
I'm excited for Barbie and Oppenheimer because I feel like it's established filmmakers getting to do something that they want to do. And with Barbie in particular, I just think that Greta Gerwig's a really good fit for that. It is kind of weird that she's continuing down the IP hole, but how else are you going to make a career right now, to be
Yeah.
honest? So I wish her all the success in the world, dude.
I do think though that she is the type that will be able to definitely maybe not get completely swallowed by the IP and go also back and maybe do some indie movies as well. I think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I have full confidence that
Yeah.
even though Barbie is based off a very consumerist property, it will have something to say because she hasn't made a movie without something to say yet.
When she does a film, she knows exactly what she wants to say in the film, and that's been evident. So I don't see a reason why we should doubt that now or start doubting.
Yeah,
that
dude.
now.
Even Little Women, the way that she changed the ending and like rearranged the timeline of events and whatnot, like she always communicates something, and I appreciate that.
I have one question. How is Ezra Miller still getting work?
I think there's stuff that's going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and for some reason they chose to forgive him, and I don't know why.
Maybe their healing process is going really well. I thought that was one of the best lead performances I've seen, at least within the past like 5 years, at the very least. I thought it was very good.
That is okay. I don't know if it's the best performance I've seen in 5 years by a lead person, but it was.
No, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm saying in terms of lead performances in movies, especially blockbusters in the past 5 years, it was one of the better ones.
Very good
I
job.
will say they were the beating heart of the film. I will say without Ezra Miller, the film would have been even worse than I think it is already.
It would have been completely like irredeemable, whereas it is pretty redeemable because of that performance. I'm telling you. Like, it's not good. It doesn't look good. The story's crazy and weighed down by too many characters. But you're right. There's a beating heart to it, and it's him and his mom, and it hurts a little bit. It's kind of well done.
I would advise to go watch the film just to see the scene between Ezra Miller and the mother, because that scene really teared me up. It really did choke me up a lot, because that was the film right there. The whole film was based on that one moment, which I'm not going to spoil if you haven't seen it, on that one moment between an interaction between his mother and Ezra Miller and the Flash, and that was fantastic.
And I feel like the normal run-of-the-mill superhero performance would not have been able to sell that moment in the way that they did.
No. Henry Cavill, or even I love Henry Cavill's Superman. He would never be able to have. Although he does have really good moments with his mother, actually.
But you needed a broken individual to.
But you needed someone that was broken, and Superman is never broken. So.
Yeah, real talent means that you're fucked.
You must be broken inside.
Yeah, if he's not mean to people on set, then I don't even want them in my movie.
Was he even method?
If you're too nice on set, are you even an actor? What?
I want you to ship some dead rats to people, okay?
Yeah. They didn't even try to choke anybody.
Have you guys heard the audio where Tom Cruise just screams?
Oh, during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, yeah, because some lad didn't have his mask on or something like that.
I remember thinking that was leaked. In order to make people think that Tom Cruise was like taking everything super seriously during COVID.
Impossible movie now.
Yeah, he was responsible. Oh my god,
guys! Mission Impossible is 96% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah,
really.
Do you care about Rotten Tomatoes? Because I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes like even a little bit.
I don't, but it's just hard not to want to see the score. When I look up a movie, and I fall victim to this all the time. I check the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I hate that I do that, but I do.
I think a lot of people fall victim to using
a lot of people do that right now.
Both ways. Like, what is the Rotten Tomatoes score? Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. Or
I
if
will
it's bad.
say
See,
though,
it's horrible on Rotten Tomatoes.
I will say though, I have paid more attention now to the audience score than I have before in the past. And I do go by the audience score a lot now, which is good.
I mean, I am, by the way, specifically talking about new movies. There was this situation with Indiana Jones, but before it came out, it had a 42 on Metacritic.
You need to go fucking rewatch that film. That's what you need to do.
I will see it when it comes to streaming, my dude.
My man here fell asleep during the entire mid-act. And woke up when there was some crazy shit going on in the film.
I think you're a perfect critic, Michael. I think you're
And
perfect
Bill-
critic.
And Bilf, I remember Bilf was sitting right next to me, and he woke up and he was like,
no.
"What the hell is going on right now?"
Okay, I am not critiquing the movie. I am merely stating the fact that it had a 42 on Metacritic before it came out because it debuted at the Cannes Film Festival where professional critics were able to watch it. And then when they saw it, they gave it a 42 combined on Metacritic. And then as soon as the other people got to it, it became like an 85.
Isle of Destiny is better than Temple of Doom. That's all I'm gonna say.
I have no opinion because I fell the fuck asleep. It's 60%. I got 60% completion.
My man Bilf is on the 30% completion, maybe. He saw young Indy and then died and then woke up when Indy was saving the day. Phoebe Waller-Bridge in that movie was actually very good. I really enjoyed that character a lot.
I like whenever she is in something. It makes me happy.
It's not.
I like Fleabag.
It was just a very different female character that we're used to in Indy Jones, where she inherently doesn't care at all about Indiana Jones. And that's what makes
Right.
it so interesting. Yeah. She's like, I don't care who you were, what you were. Who cares? You're like an 80-year-old man swinging a whip. Stop.
Go
And
back
I love that.
I want you to go back and rewatch Indiana Jones.
I love
None
that.
of those women care if he's Indiana Jones. Look at Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom's a bad movie.
She
Temple of Doom's a bad
doesn't
movie.
care.
Temple
The
of Doom's
first
a bad
one.
movie.
The first one.
Yeah, what-
She doesn't care.
Why do you have something
You're
against
hanging
Temple
around
of
my
Doom?
father. I don't care.
I just really don't like that film. And we can discuss this on another day for when we talk about indie. But I will.
Isle of Destiny.
But I will go down a rabbit hole. And I feel like I'm the only credible person that can talk about this, as I actually stayed awake and watched the whole damn film. I've seen all of them. So,
Okay, bro, I think that falling asleep is actually part of the problem because it's the fifth entry in a series with a dude that's already come back to do a full ass reboot, doing another reboot without even the original director.
It wasn't a reboot.
Technically, it's a reboot because
No,
it's
it's
been
not.
over 10 years.
It is not a reboot because it follows the story. Are you telling me Star
Wait,
Wars: The Force Awakens was a reboot?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
What?
Okay, soft,
Well,
soft
okay,
What
reboot.
about Ghostbusters after
Think of it
birth
this
or
way. Think of it
whatever?
this way.
After death.
The Incredible Hulk was a sequel and a reboot.
A reboot, guys, is they redo the story they've already done.
That's exactly what The Force Awakens did.
Force Awakens.
No,
It
Let me-
is a continuation, but also you cannot deny that being gone for over 10 years and then coming back through the box office does not mean that it's a reboot. It's a reboot of some sort. It's not a story reboot, but
And
it's coming back. Here it is again.
the MCU, The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, that
Yeah.
is a sequel to the Hulk movie from, what, 2003? But
is it
it's
though?
yeah,
It
it's
is.
a
It's-
sequel and a
I don't think
reboot
it
of the
is.
franchise.
I don't
Yeah,
think it is.
no, because they don't.
I
it's
agree
because-
with you. It's a reboot, but I don't think it was a sequel.
It is a soft sequel because it continues the story of Bruce Banner after that first Hulk movie. It's
but
not the same.
the same universe, Bruce Banner.
But they literally skipped the origin story because people already watched the 2003 Hulk movie. So they went in with a sequel mindset.
The Batman doesn't have an origin story. Are you calling that a sequel to Nolan's Batman movies? The Hulk and the Incredible Hulk is not a continuation of the story.
It absolutely.
Let me tell you.
You can't convince
So
me
I'm
otherwise.
actually curious about that, and I want to see if that's true or not. That seems like it could be true, given that the Incredible Hulk starts out completely in the middle of Bruce Banner being a vigilante, and he's on the run. I think I misspoke. I think that what I meant is a revival film, because that's become a thing. And
think
Harrison
the
Ford in particular has been in a million of them because he came back for Blade Runner, came back for Star Wars, came back for Indiana Jones twice.
Revival is a term that fits this situation better. Revival, but I still
Yes.
stand by my statement that The Incredible Hulk is the sequel / reboot to the first Hulk movie.
I don't even know what that means, though. What
That'd be
is a
very
sequel
interesting
/
to
reboot?
rewatch.
Force
Dude, we should do a double feature of those and see if that holds weight.
Absolutely.
They're so inversely different, those two things you just said, that I don't understand what that means. Like a sequel reboot.
A sequel because it makes it retcons, first of all, the actor. It retcons the like retconning stuff from the first Hulk movie makes it a reboot because it's
A sequel reboot is the First Class.
I agree with your reboot, saying it's a reboot because it is. I do not agree that you're calling it a sequel to that film because I don't think the story interjects in any way.
It does not make sense if it's the first movie in his story. That doesn't make sense at all.
Not every movie has to be an origin story, I think.
Well, yeah, because like The Amazing Spider-Man shows the origin story in it. Therefore, it's not a sequel to Sam Raimi.
Correct.
But if
it is a reboot, though.
Yes, it is a reboot.
Yeah,
it is. But it is not a sequel.
It is.
Well, it's like Mad Max Fury Road.
The Amazing Spider-Man 1 is not a sequel to Spider-Man 3.
No, it's not. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's an alternate universe.
I thought we were going back to Hulk. We're going, but
yeah.
I stand by my statement, and I think it holds water because look at where Bruce ends up at the end of the first Hulk movie, and look where he starts in The Incredible Hulk.
I'm gonna be honest. I have to rewatch the first Hulk movie because it's
same geographic location.
It's been a long time for me. Yeah.
Since I've seen that film. Yeah, I only remember the bad guy that like can change elements or can change himself.
Oh, his dad?
Yeah, his dad is the bad guy.
Yeah. What's that actor so famous? What's his name?
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte. Yeah.
Nick Nolte. Yeah.
Oh, Nick Nolte's in that. That's right.
He's David Banner.
You want my power?
Who plays Thunderbolt Ross in that?
Same guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
No. Sorry, no. Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott.
No, it's not. It's Sam Elliott.
Yeah,
it's not the same guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have
oh my God.
Incredible Hulk to
the
Iron Man 2.
The MCU version of Ross just died.
Yeah. and he's being played by Harrison Ford now.
But I think the reason why Condor is saying that is because they pulled the same general from the Incredible Hulk and made him the MCU general.
Oh, that I agree with.
The Incredible Hulk is part of the MCU, though.
It is part of the MCU. Yeah. That I agree with. The Incredible Hulk is a sequel.
It came out like 6 months. It came out 6 months after Iron Man.
No, it is sequentially a part of the MCU because there's a cutscene at the end where that's where they talk about the Avengers Initiative. Is that film
for the first time?
That's where they introduce the Avengers. Yeah.
Right. And instead of Nick Fury asking him, it's Tony Stark.
The end of the TV show actually puts him in the same geographic location as the 2003 movie, though, as well.
That's cool.
He goes to South America and just...
The TV show is also not Bruce Banner; it's David Banner.
It's David Banner, yeah.
David.
And I think
Do you want to know? I'm sorry. Do you want to hear something stupid? Because originally in the TV show, his name was going to be Bruce Banner, but they wanted to distance themselves from reminding people about formerly known as Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce. They didn't want their main character associated or to have the same name as Bruce Jenner.
I think we can equate the Hulk movie, the 2003 version, as being like I think it's like the Batman movies. It's like another verse as opposed to like the DCEU or the MCU.
We're coming up here on 90 minutes, so is there any closing topic we want to cover?
The names.
There is a closing topic. Our names.
Yeah.
Names.
So does everyone have a little list?
Let me pull up my genius list here. Well, I have. Like I said before, guys, my names suck. So I really on a low-key level, I do not want to pick any of my names. I really like the name of our group text. To be honest.
The Audio Program Council.
Yeah.
I only have one name in mind, and it's really stupid.
Do it.
Preface. So please, in the description or in the comments, please comment, vote which name of this you guys think would fit.
And if you guys have any ideas for names, put them in the comments as well. We will read them. Believe me, we will read them.
We will absolutely read them, and then we'll vote amongst ourselves to see if we like those names. Anyway, my name suggestion: White Men with Microphones podcast. The White Men with Microphones.
This is
so bringing the race pod back into it.
I think that's what they're expecting.
I mean, I think we're closing ourselves off to a whole list of demographics.
Exactly. No,
I'm vetoing that.
Or something more ironic. Not 4 more white men. Oh God,
that's funnier. That's funnier.
Oh God, 4 more white men.
No,
podcast.
I like the not for more white men.
I'm not so
Not
sure
for
about.
more white men.
Not four more white men. Jesus.
I'm not sure I want white guy to be a part of our marketing at all.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
no, that's not part of our brand in the slightest.
We want to be a safe brand here, guys.
All right, Seabass, let's hear yours.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I stole whoever said audio program cancel. I thought that was hilarious, so I have that down. I also have HeroesSquared, which is bad too. So
Hero Squad.
Do you want me to like quick
list
fire
off,
match
baby.
you?
List off, baby. List
All
off.
right, I've got gripe with the greats.
Okay.
I've got whim topics, where whim is what interests me. I've got where it changes with every host of the week, because we won't all be together all the time because we have normal lives, but we're going to convene weekly for you. So, in regards to that, I've wrote down D4 because D4, if you've ever seen a D4 dice, they're short, they're real pointed, and you can see about 3 numbers aside. So,
I like D4.
Like us.
I like D4.
I have Tinfoil Hat Society.
Wait,
I
does the
have
D stand for dick?
Yeah, 4 dicks.
Four dicks.
Podcast, the 4 Dicks podcast.
Not just for white guys. 4 dicks.
4 Dicks.
All right, I've got Better Late. I've got Cod Pieces, Cowls, and Capes.
Ooh,
I like Better Late.
that's a cool one.
And that's all I've got.
All right, Mr. Bilth.
All right, I got Media Mix is the one that I suggested in person.
Which one?
Still got that one.
Media
Media
mix.
Mix.
Media Mix. That's a cool one.
Yeah. And then I got All Trip No Fall. Better Wings. Taking Damage. Please Come Down. Banger Quota.
Why do these sound like video game callouts?
I'm inspired. Banger Quota, Coin Heaven, All Shut Up, Please Disturb, and Take the Credit.
Take the credit. What was the other one? Please disturb.
Please Disturb, yeah.
Okay, just
Rapid
off of
fire.
this initial rapid fire, I will say I do like D4 the best so far. I think.
Okay.
I like D4. I like Media Mix. I like
Media Mix and I like D4. I think as well. Yeah, that was my top.
I kind of you were talking about you like audio program council. I like that too. I came up with that one, but
APC?
I think
Can we call it APC?
APC. I mean,
I like that one too.
Kinda, yeah.
But
no. I'm just saying I did like that one, and if we want to talk more, I think that maybe it will be cool to call whatever we do make an audio program. So it's like
Yeah.
it's the D4 audio program. Welcome to the D4 audio program.
I think what we do right now is rate your top 3 right now that we just said.
All right, so I like Audio Program Council, D4 Podcast, and Media Mix.
Is this in order?
No,
So
that's
1, 2, 3.
in no particular order. Those are the 3.
no particular order.
Those are the 3 I like most.
We'll rival that and say I have the exact ones. I have D4, Media Mix, and APC podcasts.
Of D4, All Trip No Fall, and Taking Damage.
Okay.
Yeah, I have D4 audio program council and All Trip No Fall.
All Trip. So 2. We've got 2 for All Trip No Fall, which is interesting. Okay, so I think, guys, in the comment section, tell us which ones you like out of those 3 as well. If you have any other ideas, let us know in the comments. Guys, this has been our debut episode. Thank you guys for joining.
Hell yeah.
We're happy to be here. What do we think, guys?
This
Hell
is gonna,
yeah?
This is gonna be great.
That we should yeah, that was sweet.
All right, guys. Well, till next time, we'll see you. We're gonna be we release episodes weekly. So we'll see you guys next time. This is Seabass, Filth, JT Barney, Omega Condor signing off. Peace out, guys.